following is a presentation of the National Sim Racing League of America. Enjoy the race. Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 5 in season number 5 of the NRLOA Rockstar Pro Series, and we're going to go ahead and continue this series throughout the summer. I did say this was going to be postponed until fall, but I want to get the Napa Truck Series done this year. I want to do that series in the fall, so we're going to shorten the season and finish it over the summer. There's not going to be any set schedule of when these races are going to go up, but we will have it done before the end of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season in September. So we're here at Le Mans for race number 5 of the season, race 5 of 11. The races that will be taken off of the schedule will be GNC Stunt Road. It's just not really that good of a racetrack in my opinion. Eldora will be taken off Darlington, and that might be, no, there's one more that we took off, and I can't remember what it is. St. Joltis, that's what it was. That was the other track. So those 4 tracks, they're off the schedule. All the other ones will remain, and we'll finish the season out. So only 6 races left in the season before we crown the champion here in the Rockstar Pro Series. Actually 7 if you include this one. And I gotta check in on the points so that we can get this for you guys. It's been a little while since we've done this series, not too long I guess, but Texas was dominated by Cody Sill a few weeks ago, and that was his first win of the season, but he's still 27 behind our points leader in 8th, and our points leader is still Thomas Troxel in number 19. He has 56 points towards the championship. John Andrews, who won over the weekend, on Friday, actually yesterday by the way, at Road America in the IndyCar Series. He's only 12 points behind. Tristan Allen, 19 points behind. Stuart Gratton, 20 points behind. And Hergel Arvin Alonso, 22 points behind. He is tied with Emily Anderson, who is also 22 points behind Thomas Troxel in the point standings. You get 25 for the win. And, we could be seeing either Emily Anderson or Hergel Arvin Alonso as the points leader in today's event. Now, Anderson is the defending winner of this race. She drives the number 14. She's deep in the field in the starting grid for this one. It's Marty Johnson on the pole here at Le Mans. This is an 8-mile-plus road course here. It's Circuit de la Sarthe. It's a very long racetrack, and it's only a 5-lap race here around this 8.4-mile racetrack in Le Mans, France, and we got the number 12 Marty Johnson on the pole with Nicholas Samadio alongside him. Number 20 of Davey Johnson alongside Daniel Bouchard in row number 2. The 88 machine of Richard Kinghart will start alongside defending champion Blaine Keys, John Art, and Jesse Turner in row number 4. And we completely missed the fact that Richard Kinghart starting alongside Cameron Gaju, and that Blaine Keys is starting alongside the 18 of Josh Crash. So, yeah, I don't know what that's all about there, but that's the top 10 starting positions. Marty Johnson, Nicholas Samadio ready to lead the field of the green flag. We're ready to go here at Le Mans, the longest racetrack of the season. The most interesting race of the season is green here in France. So Marty Johnson with the whole shot there on the start of the event. He'll pull away from Nicholas Samadio. Davey Johnson runs in the 3rd position with Daniel Bouchard, Cameron Gaju, Richard Kinghart, Josh Crash, John Art, Blaine Keys, and Jesse Turner. That's the top 10 right now. Very calm start for this one. Oh, never mind. Annie Thomas and Herja and Alonso torn up at the beginning of this one. And back in there, they seem to have gained some contact, and that might be the end of the day for those two drivers right there. A tough break for those guys. And down this long straightaway, this is where this racetrack gets very interesting because they get a huge draft down that long straightaway down the backstretch, and the chicanes kind of split all that up, and it's hard to make passes through the chicane, but that long straightaway allows for these races to be very good. Oh, and in the wall hard, it's Fitzwater and John Andrews. My goodness, and already 2 casualties on the first lap of the race. Andrews and Fitzwater are done. No question about it. That's a tough break for Andrews, who came into this race second in the points. And Fitzwater's done, and you see these two guys all done. That is Alonso and Annie Thomas. So a very eventful first lap so far here at Circuit de la Sarthe, but it's still Marty Johnson out front in the number 12. Nicholas Sambadeo's got a good chance at this win, though. I mean, he is one of those guys who, he's won everywhere special. He's won at Daytona, he's won at Indianapolis, and while it's not too special in the NRLOA, Le Mans is still a very special place, and Sambadeo could very well get the win here today in this race. The Grand Prix of Le Mans is getting underway. Not much of a change in the top 10 right now. A little bit of side-by-side back in there, but that's outside the top 10 between Trey Bartow and the 11 of Nathan Stapleton. Now, Tristan Allen and Annie Thomas, the past 2 winners of this event. Allen won in Season 3, Anderson won in Season 4. But if you're not in the top 10 in this series, you don't get any points, so it doesn't really matter if you're outside the top 10. But already 4 drivers going to get knocked out because of crash damage early on. Sambadio right behind Marty Johnson here. They haven't really pulled away from each other here, and staying pretty close here on lap 1 of 5. So Johnson staying out front. Marty Johnson at that. You got Davey Johnson running third, so we're pretty close to each other. And Jimmy Johnson's car, driven by Daniel Bouchard, runs in the 4th position. Good run for Cameron Gaju here today. Got a great run in qualifying, and on the road courses, qualifying is extra critical. And of course, at a place like Le Mans, we do see a lot more passing than at other road courses. But still, you got to start up front if you're going to have a chance at victory, because a lot of it depends on those leaders making mistakes, and that happens rather frequently here at Le Mans, especially on this final corner on the racetrack. As Marty Johnson comes through to complete lap 1, want to make sure he does not overshoot that final corner and hit that outside wall. You're going to see Marty Johnson go wide a little bit, but he keeps it clean, and you see how close they come to hitting those tire barriers there off the final corner. You might see Stapleton tap it there. That's going to slow him down, and Bartow's going to get a run to the inside. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Stapleton might have some damage. He appears to have hit that outside wall quite a bit there, and I see a piece of sheet metal sticking out from his race car. Yeah, he did hit that outside wall. Look at all the left side damage to the number 11. Not too good there for Nathan Stapleton. Tristan Allen, Emily Anderson, Alexander Rowe, Cody Sill, our last winner, who absolutely dominated at Texas. He's outside the top 10. Caleb Hoffman's outside the top 10. Casey did a pretty good job earlier today in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series race, driving the number 97. And our points leader is outside the top 10 as well, with Thomas Troxel in 19. Fitzwater, John Andrews, and these guys are still trying to get around the racetrack, and I'm hoping they can get to the pit lane before the rest of the field comes on them, because that would be an issue if our leaders came across these lap-down cars, or will-be lap-down cars. That's Alonso, Andy Thomas, and John Andrews, who have all accumulated crash damage, and there's a good chance they might not make it to the pit lane before the rest of the field comes back around. Bouchard trying to get around Davey Johnson, and he's going to make the pass for third through the first chicane. A very bold move there by Daniel Bouchard, and he's going to take it away from the number 20. Of course, the NR 2003 big one coming up. He's the defending winner of that race, representing Team NRLOA, I do believe, unless he switched. If he did, you know, that's the way it goes. But he is a defending winner either way. And that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks here. Next week, yeah, I think. Yeah, next week is the Team NRLOA Heats, and then we'll get to the main event the weekend after that. So definitely a lot going on there. And Bouchard is definitely looking forward to that, no question about it. Nicholas Samedi has been all behind Marty Johnson in this one so far. There's a good chance we could see another dominating performance out of a driver in this series. We saw it at Texas when we did not expect it. And here at Le Mans, I'd be a little bit more expecting, I guess you can say. We'd expected a lot more in this series at Le Mans than we would at a place like Texas, but still, you never know what could happen. And number 12 trying to hang on to the lead here and get his first win of the season, and I believe his first win of the year as well. And finally, these guys will come down the pit lane, so they will, in fact, avoid getting in the way of our leaders, which is a great thing to see. So Marty Johnson staying out front. Now all it takes is one driver, just the leader, to overshoot that final corner, which jams up the field. And we saw it happen last year. It gave us a very good finish between Salzman, Anderson. I forget who else was in contention for that win, but I know Salzman and Anderson were contenders. And I believe Trey Bartz has actually won this race before as well. So I think all three of the past winners of this thing, actually, yeah, we've only had 3 Le Mans races in the Rockstar Pro Series before. Season number 2 did not have a race here. That season number 2 almost isn't canon, but either way, I believe Trey Bartz won your season 1, Tristan Allen won season 3, and Emily Anderson won season 4 last year. So yeah, they're all in this race today. All the defending winners of Le Mans are here today for this one. And Marty Johnson looking to become one, but like I said, the leader tends to have a lot of issues off that final corner here, and you might want to watch for him possibly overshooting it as this race goes along. I believe when Tristan Allen won this race, he dominated like Marty Johnson is right now. And of course, Tristan Allen was driving for Team Penske at the time, so this team knows their way around this place pretty well. No question about it. Johnson a little wide, but he's going to avoid the wall. And they come very close there, but they seem to be keeping it together pretty well here today. John Arndt just tapped it there. He's going to lose a position. Here comes Jesse Turner on him. And Stuart Gratton right behind the 43 will push him past the number 9. That is for 9th. That is a point right there. And that can mean a lot towards the championship as this season goes along. But Turner past John Arndt. And you see the damage on the number 9 machine. Tough break for the veteran driver there who just overshot the final corner. Stuart Gratton, Trey Bartz just on the outside of the top 10 right now, but it's still Marty Johnson dominating this event here at Circuit de la Sarthe, and he's got a well over second lead ahead of Nicholas Samedi on lap 3 of 5. But down these straightaways is where these guys close back in, and Nicholas Samedi could easily get that draft on the 12. So you can see quite a ways down there before the first chicane, and he also got the straightaway in between the 2 chicanes, and then the straightaway from the second chicane to the south end of the racetrack. So, you know, they close right back in the second half of this course, and it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the rest of this event. But Marty Johnson's been racing a very clean race. When you come to a road course like this, just like with what we saw earlier today with Ace Garcia getting his first win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, it's always good to race a clean race and win it from the pole. That's what a lot of guys want to do when they win the pole in these road course events, and right now Marty Johnson is doing just that. You know, Daniel Bouchard has pulled away from Davey Johnson, and he is closing in on Nicholas Samedi here. We'll have to see if Bouchard has a chance on the number 1 before this race is done. Of course, I think he's going to have a chance on this lap, and if that's the case, Bouchard might be able to close in on Marty Johnson for the lead, and that would definitely be a very fascinating scenario, because Bouchard seems to have a pretty fast race car right now as he closes in on the number 1. As they head into the south portion of the racetrack, this very tight corner. Samedi overshot it just slightly, and Bouchard might close in. He won't. Johnson stays out front for now. Same top 5. Same drivers in the top 5. Mainly this entire race with Richard Kingart, Josh Crash, Blaine Keys, and Jesse Turner Now rounding out the top 10, I do believe, with Grattan actually rounding out the 10th position right there because he has gotten around John Art as well. But you got to hand it to Marty Johnson so far. It's been a pretty good one for him in the number 12. He's led both laps so far in this race. Nicholas Amedeo starting to get a little smaller in his rear view mirror. As now Nicholas Amedeo is going to have to deal with the 48 of Daniel Bouchard for this one. So it's going to get pretty tight for second in a moment, I do believe. And we'll see how this final corner goes for this lap here. It's going to be critical until the end. We've only seen a couple of issues so far with Nathan Stapleton and John Art. And as you can tell, neither of those guys are in the top 10 right now. So didn't work out too well for him. But Marty Johnson is in a position where if he were to hit that outside wall, he'd still get some points, but he probably wouldn't get the win. So you got to execute when you come to a place like this. There are plenty of places that make mistakes. It's like Road America with what we saw earlier today. And only had one accident in that race, which is quite interesting. Already we've had two here today for this race at Le Mans, the Rockstar Pro Series, but still, you gotta execute at these places, and if you don't do so, you're gonna lose the race. And it's very hard to lose a race at a place like a road course, but when you do, it's very hard to deal with. Johnson a little wide. He came close there, but he keeps it together. And it looks like this time everybody's going to avoid hitting it, which is good. They seem to be keeping it pretty clean off that final corner right there here today. Wasn't quite like that last year, and we had a very interesting battle there. But Sam Medeo actually closed in that last lap on Marty Johnson, so it's far from over here at Le Mans. Still 2 laps to go, well over 16 miles, so gonna have a long way to go before this race is done here for race 5 of the season in the Rockstar Pro Series. Sam Medeo closing in here in the 1. Trying to stay right behind Marty Johnson so he can get that draft down the back straightaway. Difficult thing to do with the chicanes in the middle there. If this was the old version of Le Mans, they would not have the chicanes, and they'd be going down this entire back straightaway on one straightaway. And that would be something. They would be reaching very high speeds before they enter the south portion of the racetrack, and that could get kind of dangerous, but right now, they're figuring it out pretty well. Sam Medeo definitely closed in there, and you can see him right behind the number 12. It's very difficult to make a pass through the second chicane. We saw Bouchard make a pass in the first chicane on Davy Johnson earlier on, but making it down the second chicane is a lot harder. You move to the inside, and you just don't have the run there. I think Sam Medeo, you know, he's been hanging with Marty Johnson this entire race. Might be setting up for something at this point. I mean, trying to test out that next final lap here, and he was able to close in. If he can stay a little bit closer, he seems to have a little bit of trouble through that corner right there as he went wide again. I believe he went wide the last time, and here comes Bouchard, and I think Bouchard's going to get him here. 48 drafting the 1. Going to have the inside lane. There he goes for second. Sam Medeo overshot that corner, and here comes Bouchard in the 48 for second. That's what Marty Johnson wants to see, is these guys going side by side. Bouchard has the inside, and he will clear. So that's 2 positions for Daniel Bouchard on the racetrack already. He's got a fast car, and we're going to have to see on this final lap if he can close in on Marty Johnson and possibly take this win away, because if that were to happen, what a performance that would be for the number 48 of Daniel Bouchard. But Marty Johnson has had a flawless ride all day long. It's going to come down to these final couple of laps here, and if Marty Johnson can execute, I think he's going to get the win. But you saw what happened with Nicholas Amedeo. Just slightly overshot it and lost the position. One little mistake like that can cost you. And it did for Nicholas Amedeo right there. Richard Kinger has gotten around Cameron Gaju. That's for 5th right there. So Gaju's in 6th. Josh Crash is in 7th. Blaine Keys, Jesse Turner, and Stuart Gratton, the top 10 here at Le Mans. Only the top 10 receive points. Yeah, you guys should probably be able to figure that out by now. I've said it like so many times, so yeah. So here we go, coming to the white flag in the Grand Prix of Le Mans in the Rockstar Pro Series. I promise the next race is going to be a lot better. Coca-Cola is fun. Super speedway there under the lights, and this year's Le Mans race, not like last year's, or at least not yet. You never know what could happen. Johnson a little wide. That was close there, but he did not hit the outside wall. So here we go, white flag in the Grand Prix of Le Mans for Marty Johnson. He's led every lap so far. But will Daniel Bouchard close in and surpass him on this final lap? He's already gotten around Davey Johnson and Nicholas Samadio. We'll have to see if he can close in on the number 12. It's going to be close, I think. I think Bouchard has the best race car on the racetrack, but like I said, when you come to a road course, passing can be very difficult, and we're going to see that here in this final lap. Marty Johnson able to pull a considerable gap between him and Bouchard, but if Bouchard can close in here down the straightaway, he's going to be pretty close, and he's going to have a chance of getting around him. If Marty Johnson makes one mistake, that could be it. Bouchard has raced a flawless race here today, and as you can tell, it has worked out for him very well. And we'll have to see if he's going to be close enough to close in the Marty Johnson here down the backstretch, because I don't think he is. He might try to dive it in pretty deep on the chicane. If he can do that and close in enough, we'll have to see if he can close down on the next straightaway. But you can see Marty Johnson coming down the chicane. And Daniel Bouchard not too far behind him, but I think this is the farthest we have seen second place from first place down the straightaway all race long. So I think Johnson's in a pretty good position as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Especially off that final corner. That would be something if the leader did that. I mean, we've had it happen in this very race before. But I know Marty Johnson's led every lap. When you lead every lap like that, you want to get the win. And it's hard to watch the driver lose it just like that. Through the second chicane they go. Johnson's going to go through. And Bouchard is going to go through as well. No side-by-side through that chicane pretty much the entire race. You're going to see Turner try to get it on Blaine Keys, and he's going to do it. Keys overshot it. And that is a couple of points there for Jesse Turner on the 42. Even John Art's going to get around Blaine Keys, so Keys is going to lose points here today just because of that one move. Yeah, and Johnson is just out of here in the 12. I mean, Bouchard's just a little too far behind, and now you see Samadio. He's under fire from Davey Johnson in the 20. And Johnson might get it here on Samadio for third. I think he might. Gotta stay right behind him. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it, though. You see Marty Johnson out ahead by quite a bit. It's gonna take that last lap, and, well, it's gonna take that last corner, I mean. And even if he overshoots that last corner, there's a very good chance he'll be able to keep it clean. And, clean enough, I should say, to, stay ahead of Daniel Bouchard. He's got enough of a gap right now that I think it's gonna be Marty Johnson here at Le Mans. Bouchard is just too far behind at this point. It's going to take a major mistake out of the number 12, and we have not seen that all race long. So a very dominating performance by Marty Johnson here today, just like last time at Texas with Cody Sill. This time it's Marty Johnson in the 12, who I believe came close to winning at Texas. I think he was one of those guys who was running up front in that race, but could not pull it off, of course. And final few corners, and it's going to be Marty Johnson getting a win in Le Mans, France. How about that for Marty Johnson in the Rockstar Pro Series here? Holding on to the lead right now with Daniel Bouchard right behind him. Bouchard did close in a little bit there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to take a mistake off the final corner for Marty Johnson if this is going to happen. Moment of truth right here, coming to the checkered flag. Marty Johnson in the number 12 is a little wide, but he's going to be cool, and he will win the Grand Prix of Le Mans in the Rockstar Pro Series. Marty Johnson gets it done in the 5th race of the season. Bouchard, Samadio, Davey Johnson, Kinghart, Gaju, Josh Crash, Jesse Turner, Stuart Gratton, and John Arndt will get a point here at Le Mans as Blaine Keys falls outside the top 10 on that final lap. One of the more uneventful Le Mans races we have seen here in this series, but I think Marty Johnson is glad it was uneventful as he gets the win here in the Grand Prix of Le Mans. We did have those accidents, but since it does not have any effect on points, there's no point in seeing what happened. And, yeah, it's a tough break for Andy Thomas, John Andrews, Alonso, and Fitzwater there. But other than that, everybody else finished on the lead lap in this rather calm race. No passes for the lead. That's been a common thing as of late here in these road course races. We saw that a lot. Saw it in the Indy Lights race, and actually it was the only race at Road America where we saw a guy lead every lap. All the other races had different leaders, so it wasn't too bad of a weekend for all these road course races. But next week it's going to change. We head to Pocono for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series and the Hers Dash Series. And I believe next weekend we'll also try to get Coca-Cola in as well. I'm not entirely sure if we will. I might just go ahead and just record it right now. But we'll have to see how that all goes down. But Marty Johnson, the winner. Daniel Bouchard, Nicholas Samedeo, Davey Johnson, Richard Kingart, Cameron Gaju, Josh Crash, Jesse Turner, Stuart Gratton, and John Arndt all receiving points here today. And, yeah, next race is going to be a lot more exciting. Let me tell you that. Coca-Cola is a great place, and it's going to be a fun race there. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Congratulations to Marty Johnson, your winner here at Le Mans. And here are the point standings after 5 races in Season 5 of the Rockstar Pro Series. I will see you guys later. Start to beat again.